What if the most beautiful part of your home has been hiding in plain sight all along? Not behind a big renovation, not under a contractor's blueprint, but right there, in your backyard, waiting for a quiet idea and a little courage to change everything. Welcome to Archon Aesthetic Studio, where we believe beauty lives in simplicity, and that anyone, yes anyone, can create something meaningful with what they already have. In today's video, Backyard Makeover on a Budget, Genius DIY Landscaping Hacks, you'll discover real ideas, drawn from everyday materials and down-to-earth creativity. This video comes with timestamps to make browsing easy. Skip around as you please, or let the inspiration unfold naturally from start to finish. And if something sparks your interest or a question crosses your mind, leave it in the comments. I'm here for the conversation. The images shown in this video are not products or tutorials. They're simply visions, creative references, small sparks for you to turn into something truly your own. Don't wait to have it all. Work with what's already in your hands. That's where the magic begins. Maybe I'm just a quiet voice on your screen, but this channel holds a real dream from a real home. If you choose to subscribe, thank you. You're not just supporting content. You're helping someone believe their story matters. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. One, rustic DIY garden borders on a budget. It starts with a quiet morning, the kind that smells like damp earth and fresh-cut grass. Sunlight spills softly over the garden, catching the edges of a winding red brick path. The bricks aren't perfect. Some are chipped, a few a little out of line, but that's what makes it feel real. Handmade, lived in. You can imagine the sound of footsteps on it, maybe your own, as you walk barefoot to greet the new blooms. This isn't about a grand transformation overnight. This is about charm, built one detail at a time. Off to the side, wooden logs weathered by sun and time stand like quiet sentinels. Each one is different, cut from different trees, maybe salvaged from an old fence or a forgotten shed. Moss clings to the edges, not as a flaw, but as a gentle sign that nature approves of its return. These borders don't demand attention. They earn it through story and texture. Farther on, heavy stone blocks form a wall, nothing polished or factory-made. They're stacked with care and a little intuition. You don't need blueprints for something this honest. Just a shovel, a weekend, and a love for making beauty from what's already around you. These are borders not just for flowers, but for memories. They frame the place where your kids might plant their first sunflower, where a stray cat might nap in the sun, where a neighbor might lean over and say, "That's beautiful. Did you do it yourself?" And you'll smile, because you did. You don't need a big budget to build a garden that feels like home. Sometimes all it takes is what you already have, and a new way of seeing it. So next time you pass by those old bricks in the corner of your yard, or wonder if those wooden planks could serve one more purpose, remember this: beauty doesn't have to be bought. It can be built, patiently, lovingly, and with both hands in the dirt. Two, sleek minimalist garden edging ideas. There's something soothing about straight lines and soft silence. In a world that often feels cluttered, a minimalist garden offers more than just space. It offers clarity. The kind of calm that doesn't shout for attention, but invites you in quietly, like a deep breath you didn't know you needed. The first step reveals a clean grid of light gray pavers, perfectly cut, laid flat over soft green grass. Every tile feels intentional. The green that peeks between each square is more than a design, it's rhythm. Nature and geometry sharing the same language. You can almost hear the crunch of gravel underfoot and feel the sunlight bouncing off the smooth stone. A few steps further, and the lines grow sharper. A black metal edging, thin but firm, hugs a narrow bed of succulents. Their rosette forms rise from dark mulch like quiet sculptures. There's no excess here, just balance. The kind that comes not from price, but from purpose. And then, a striking divide. Green lawn flowing freely until it meets a border of clean concrete, holding back a sea of crisp white gravel. A visual whisper that says, "This is yours to shape." This contrast, this boundary, it doesn't separate, it defines. And it's proof that modern doesn't have to mean expensive. It just has to be smart. What these gardens teach us is simple. Peace can be designed. With everyday materials and a little patience, you can create something elegant, intentional, and entirely your own. You don't need a landscape architect or a fancy sketchbook. Sometimes, all you need is a free weekend, a straight edge, and a quiet vision. And maybe, in the silence of laying one tile at a time, you'll find more than just a garden. You'll find a little space to breathe. Three, unique and playful garden border inspiration. Not every garden needs to be symmetrical or strict. Some speak through laughter, nostalgia, and quiet rebellion. In this corner of the backyard, rules melt into whimsy, and the borders aren't just edges, they're personalities. It begins with a trail of teacups. Stacked like a collection of memories, each porcelain piece blooms with florals of its own. Pink roses, tiny violets, golden trim catching sunlight. They sit unevenly on a wall of old garden stones, a little wobbly, a little charming, like they were placed there during a spontaneous afternoon of joy. This isn't design, it's expression. And it's beautiful because it dares not to be perfect. Further along, a line of pastel rubber boots stands at attention. Once mudded companions of rainy days, now reimagined as quirky planters, each filled with a burst of color. Petunias peek from inside sky blue toes, while pale pink boots cradle tiny purple blooms. You can almost hear the laughter of children in the background, and feel the sunlight warming the tops of each worn, painted boot. And then there's the sparkle, not of diamonds, but of sunlight pouring through glass. A border made from upside-down bottles in deep green, cobalt blue, and ruby red stretches along a garden path. They catch the golden hour like stained glass in a chapel made for bees and butterflies. Each bottle was once a celebration, now reborn as a playful edge to wildflowers and soil. These are the touches that turn a yard into a story. They're not about matching palettes or high-end materials. They're about finding joy in the unexpected. They remind us that DIY doesn't mean doing it all alone, but doing it your own way. If you've ever looked at something old and thought, maybe it could be something new, this kind of garden is for you. Because sometimes, the most memorable designs come not from catalogs, but from curiosity and a heart willing to play. 4. Living plant borders for natural garden edging. There's a certain kind of beauty that doesn't call out to you. It waits quietly. It lets the wind do the talking, the light do the dancing, and the air carry the message. Along the edge of this garden, lavender stretches in a soft, orderly line. Each stem upright, each bloom like a whisper in purple. As you walk the path beside it, the scent rises gently, not rushing to greet you but arriving just in time. There's a rhythm here, between scent, color, and silence, that only plants know how to keep. A turn reveals something different but no less comforting. Perfectly clipped boxwoods form a row like green domes, each one mirroring the next, soft yet precise. They don't just define space, they hold it. Behind them, the gravel crunches underfoot, a familiar sound that reminds you this is a garden that works hard without making a fuss. And then, a curve, not of stone, but of grasses, tall and feathery, swaying with the smallest breeze. There's no symmetry, just softness. Their shadows spill onto the pavers below like long fingers reaching for morning. It's in moments like this that you realize a garden doesn't need decoration. It needs patience, and plants that know how to move with the world. You don't need a professional touch to build something this alive. You need intention. You need to let things grow. And maybe, just maybe, you need to step back and let nature lead, with its gentle hands and wild grace. Five. Compact garden edging ideas for small spaces. Small spaces ask for more intention. They don't leave much room for excess, but within their quiet limits, they open a chance to be clever, to be deliberate with every stone, every line, every inch of soil. Here, in a narrow corner tucked between fence and wall, simplicity speaks volumes. Wooden planks edge the space like a frame, enclosing a clean platform of decking where pots hang vertically in black containers, each one alive with green. There's order here, but not stiffness. It's smart and calm. This is where morning coffee could taste better than usual, where a small space becomes something sacred. Elsewhere, a border of white river stones curves gently around a tiny bed of earth. They're not glued, not forced, just placed. Smooth, rounded, and sunlit, each one like a tiny promise of peace. You don't need much to make something feel beautiful. Just contrast, texture, a little patience, and along a quiet side yard, warm-toned bricks lead the way. They're not surrounded by sprawling shrubs, just scattered plants with space to breathe. The gravel holds them gently, like a soft silence. It's the kind of space that reminds us, gardens aren't only for growing, they're for slowing down. Compact doesn't mean limited. It means focused. It means every decision counts. And that's where the beauty begins. Because when you give purpose to every edge, you create not just a border, but a boundary between the outside world and your own little sanctuary. Six. Eco-friendly upcycled garden border ideas. Not everything old has to be forgotten. Some things simply need to be seen in a new way, not as waste, but as wonder. Here, along the soft soil of a garden bed, clay roof tiles stand upright like a row of time-worn guardians. Each one leans just a little differently, some with chips, others with faded patterns or gentle moss clinging to the side. Together, they form a circle not just of design, but of history. You can almost imagine the roof they once belonged to. Maybe a farmhouse, maybe something long gone, now reborn to cradle something green. Step around the corner, and color spills into view. A line of bottles, turned upside down, forms a playful ribbon of light and glass. Blues, greens, and ambers sparkle in the afternoon sun, catching each ray and scattering it over the flower bed like a prism made of memory. It feels whimsical, but grounded, the kind of idea that makes guests smile and say, "Wait, is that a bottle?" And just beyond, reclaimed bricks, mossy, rough, stained by time, stack gently in a border that holds in herbs and soft lavender. There's something deeply peaceful about it, the way nature begins to reclaim what was man-made. Moss pushes through the cracks, the bricks warm under the sun. It doesn't shout, "Look at me," it whispers, "This is enough." This kind of garden edging doesn't come from catalogs or glossy tutorials. It comes from being curious, from saving what others might discard, from looking at a pile of old materials and saying, "I think I can make something beautiful out of this." And that's what this is. Not just a border for your garden, but a quiet act of restoration. Seven, styled garden edging ideas. Boho, Zen, Cottagecore. Some gardens are quiet reflections of who we are, not just in what we plant, but in the style we choose to shape the space. A border, after all, is more than a divider. It's an expression, and when done with heart, it becomes an invitation to feel something. Under a golden sunset, a short weathered fence stands gently among ivy and daisies. It's imperfect, aged with time, and all the more beautiful because of it. This is the soul of cottagecore, where wildflowers grow freely and the past lingers like the scent of chamomile in the breeze. It feels like a memory you never knew you had, a scene from an old letter, quiet, honest, comforting. Not far from here, things are more grounded. A single line of river stones, smooth and solid, traces the edge of raked gravel, while bamboo poles stand upright in soft rhythm. No decoration, no drama, just balance. This is the Zen border, the kind you don't just see, but feel. It slows your breath. It reminds you to walk barefoot, to listen to wind moving through leaves, to be present. And in a corner alive with color and craft, a rope twists gently between sun-bleached posts, framing a bed of wild blooms. Macrame knots dangle softly in the light. This is boho, not polished, not planned, but vibrant and alive, like a garden made during a lazy Sunday with music playing nearby. It's full of joy, of freedom, and it doesn't try to be perfect. What's powerful about themed garden edging like this is not just the look. It's the mood it sets, the message it carries. You don't need a large space or a big budget. Just imagination, a bit of texture, and the courage to let your garden reflect who you really are. Eight. Flowing curved garden edging ideas. Some gardens aren't meant to be boxed in. They breathe better when they curve, when they follow the rhythm of how nature grows. And in those gentle bends, something magical happens. The space begins to feel alive. You can see it in the rounded brick border, swooping softly between soil and lawn like the line of a whisper. It's not straight. It doesn't need to be. That curve, handmade, warm underfoot, draws your eye naturally, almost like your feet know where to go next without being told. Elsewhere, flat river stones are nestled side by side, tracing a winding path that feels like a quiet journey. Every turn reveals another patch of blooms, another textured leaf, another brush with something calm. There's no urgency here. It's a space that invites slowness. That says, take your time. And at the heart of it all, a circular herb garden rises slightly, cradled by cut wooden logs placed with care. It's not grand, but grounded. The wood has warmth. The soil, rich and alive, spills ever so slightly over the edges. A small reminder that in nature, nothing is too perfect. And that's exactly why it feels so real. These curves don't just organize the garden, they soften it. They add movement without chaos. They give you a moment of beauty every time you look down. It doesn't take expensive materials or architectural tools to create something this harmonious. Just intention, just patience, just the willingness to listen to the shape your garden wants to become. Nine, mixed material garden borders for texture and depth. There's something quietly powerful about contrast in the garden. It's where the softness of nature meets the structure of design, where rough bark leans beside crisp stone, and old timber finds its voice again, framing blooms in full color. Let's begin with one of the most unexpected and delightful pairings. Here, the border is made from stacked firewood, their cut faces catching golden light, their bark curling like the pages of a long-read novel. Alongside them, clean concrete pavers run smooth and straight, a balance of raw and refined. It's a line drawn by hand, not machine. This isn't mass-produced, it's crafted, and it shows. And just a few steps away, another edge takes form. Thick wooden sleepers hold in pale pebbles and dusky soil, layered like the pages of a well-organized sketchbook. Petunias burst through in vibrant pinks and purples, the gravel lending brightness and the timber warmth. It feels like a weekend project finished just in time for tea, cheerful, grounded, and absolutely achievable. Then, in a more polished scene, we find a raised bed edged in stacked stone. On top, clean black metal rails trace the line like underlining a thought. The combination is quietly architectural, not loud, but thoughtful. Not expensive, but smart. The mulch, the lawn, the contrast of metal and mossed stone. It all whispers, yes, you can. Tip for viewers, look around you. The best borders don't always come from a store. They come from what's already here, wood you've stored, stone from a past project, or even a salvaged rail. Let texture be your teacher. Let your eye guide the line. Because borders don't just divide, they define, and sometimes they even elevate. Garden borders with integrated lighting ideas. As daylight softens and the sky blushes with the last light of the sun, the garden slowly begins to glow. It's subtle at first, a flicker here, a shimmer there. But then, as if the backyard is breathing a calm sigh, a warm trail of lights hums to life. The first glow rises gently from small lantern-style solar lights staked firmly into the earth beside a sleek black metal edge. They don't demand attention. They simply exist, quietly guiding the way, casting a soft golden aura across dew-kissed blades of grass. This is not just lighting, it's atmosphere. And it's astonishingly achievable with solar stakes and a well-placed edge. No electrician, no wires. Just you, the soil, and the evening hush. Elsewhere, a curved garden bed dressed in wood reveals a painter's stroke of light. A single line of slim lead strips hugs its form, bringing gentle focus to the plants cradled within. The line is clean. The effect? Calming. The way the glow dances across lavender and mulch could almost make you forget how simple it was to create. Just adhesive strip lights tucked under the edge, secured with care. And then, stone. Weathered, grounded, timeless. Each block in this raised bed is separated by just enough space to allow a flickering solar light to sit like a candle in a sanctuary. As the garden dims, these tiny beacons pulse with warmth. They create not only a sense of welcome, but of place, defining a border, guiding the eye, inviting you to linger a little longer. There's something poetic about a garden that doesn't disappear with the sun. With just a few inexpensive lights, solar stakes, lead rope, or soft warm path markers, your backyard can continue to tell stories long into the night. It doesn't take much, just intention, a handful of lights, and the belief that beauty is often found in quiet, simple things. (11) Low-maintenance garden border ideas for busy people. No-maintenance edging styles. In a world where time often escapes us like wind through tall grass, there lies a simple truth. Beauty doesn't have to beg for your attention or your weekends. The first scene introduces us to a long, gravel-filled path framed by sturdy, pressure-treated timber. It doesn't shout for admiration. Instead, it stands with quiet dignity, leading your feet through flower beds with a balance of strength and softness. This kind of garden path is not just practical, it is meditative. Low maintenance in form, yet thoughtful in design. A project like this, done in a single afternoon, can offer years of reliable calm. In the second frame, the aesthetic becomes sharper. Rust-proof steel, aged with purpose, draws a fine line between order and organic. The mulch on one side feels loose and wild, while the pavement on the other is crisp and deliberate. This boundary, humble yet refined, speaks to a modern soul. For those who crave tidiness but still cherish texture, this is an elegant compromise. No weeds, no fuss, just resilience baked into every inch of metal. And finally, a vision of contrast so clean it feels surreal. Synthetic grass meets pale gravel, divided by a flat concrete strip so smooth, so simple, it nearly disappears. This is where the idea of effortless becomes real. There's no mowing, no edging, no soil to shift or weeds to chase. Just space that stays exactly as you left it, day after day, season after season. What these edges whisper, quietly, is this: you don't have to do more to enjoy more. Sometimes, the art of landscaping lies in what you no longer have to manage. And in that stillness, where design meets intention, your backyard becomes more than just a space. It becomes a sanctuary that asks for nothing but gives you peace in return. If this video meant something to you, Please know that subscribing means the world to me. You're not just supporting content. You're supporting a dream that keeps my family going. Thank you, truly. I'd also love to hear from you. What did you enjoy the most? Is there anything I could do better to keep inspiring or simply entertaining you? Your feedback helps this channel grow with heart and purpose. Let me know in the comments. I read every one.